Hi, welcome to my channel, and today I'd like to discuss a little short introduction to synastry in astrology. And when I mean introductory, I mean introductory. We're not going to get into the basics, the heavy things here. I am working on a course currently, really going into that. But until then, I'm just going to give you a little bit, because I see this so much of the time. People will cast synastry charts for celebrities and be like, it's amazing, and then it's like, no, it's really not, because synastry is about how energy flows between two living beings or two entities. I'll say entities like that because it could be a corporation. I always say to people who are looking for jobs, look up the corporation, see when it was founded, see if your relationship to that will be healthy and harmonious. Or a country, if you want to relocate. A lot of people are relocating lately. Go see if how your life is going to play out where you go. So I just wanted to mention one quick thing that you can use the sun for in synastry. It's actually quite interesting and cool, and it makes a lot of sense, and it's very quickly evident. It becomes very obvious when you spot the sun. So what can you use the sun for? Firstly, you need an ascendant. You do need a birth time for this. So here's how I would do it. Suppose you wanted to move to, another country, and you thought, oh, that country's sun falls into my 12th house. Well, the 12th house rules losses. So you're going to lose energy. Of course, you could lose financially, you could lose opportunities, who knows what else, okay? But then you have to ask yourself, what are you going there for? Because it's not a house where you can see gains. So if you're going, let's say, abroad to live a life of service, to be in an ashram for 6 months, to meditate, to be spiritually devoted to your path, well, that's quite in alignment. It's not a material place per se. So if you're doing something very religious or spiritual, you're with a congregation or something like that, then that makes sense. If you're traveling with your church, if you're doing missionary work, okay, it's a foreign land, you're doing that, that makes sense. But if you're gonna go and you think, I'm gonna smash it, I'm gonna get a promotion, I'm gonna make so much money, then hold on. You have to really look at how you're gonna make that money, because the 12th house guarantees we're about to lose something. So namely, it's energy. So in relationships, if the 12th house is lit up, usually you lose energy. That person drains you. Now, I'm not saying it's good, I'm not saying it's bad, but other things can come from it, such as you can be amused to that person because it's the house of inspiration, or they can inspire you. If you're an artist, then that's wonderful. If you're a spiritual couple, then that's wonderful. If you're a religious couple, that's wonderful. If you're a couple with wanderlust and you're always buzzing around, then that's also quite wonderful because you're never still. So another one, let's say you are thinking of getting married and sun posits in the 6th house. So the 6th house is the house where nothing fun really happens, okay? It's one of devotion and duty, responsibility, things that we have to do. Okay, so if you want to be married, well, you've got to put your best foot forward and put yourself out there and have a good attitude and try, right? And it's like those things aren't fun, but they're necessary, okay? If you want to be a doctor, well, you have to apply to medical school and write the MCAT and go sit all the exams and do a year of clerkship and so forth. Okay, you want to be an engineer, you want to be an architect, you've got to work hard. So this is the 6th house. So it also rules routine, and it's on the axis of selflessness. So of course, if the 6th house is lit up, and I have found, in my personal experience, especially when the man's sun is in the woman's 6th house in particular, because of society and our norms, I suppose, women generally tend to do more of unpaid labor. What happens then is, because it's routine and it's quite detailed, then the person who has the 6th house and the sun is positing into it, it energizes that house. So now, unless your goal is to be, like a stay-at-home parent or spouse, or do something kind of behind the scenes, that might not fulfill that person, and if they're in relationship with someone else with a different sun sign, then even if their personalities are quite identical, they can fare better if that's not what they want, because the 6th house is going to amplify the routine, the day-to-day things, let's say, like dishes or cooking or something. And if that's not your dream, the domestic dream, or to be behind the scenes when your partner's a star, then it can amplify that workload, and then down the line it will breed resentment. And don't forget, the 6th house rules enemies, competition, and divorce. So down the line, you can see like, hey, if we don't take care, I'm not saying if someone's sun is in the sixth house, you're gonna get divorced. I'm not saying that. But if you're not mindful of how that makes you feel, then that's certainly a possibility. I mean, divorce is possible. It's shockingly easy to get a divorce in today's times. I thought years ago, one day they're just gonna have an app. You're just gonna like scan something and like have a petition for divorce drafted immediately. So just be mindful of those things. You know, let's say it's the eighth house. So the eighth house is clearly very intense. It's very passionate. It's very secretive. So this is something you'll see oftentimes in political couples. You know, they all have changed hands with other people, passing around some dirty, dirty secrets. None of them have clean hands, really. So they clearly know something that we don't know. That's how they achieve power. And you know, it is a house that rules the sign of power. So therefore, you know, if you're not into that, if you're not into the attainment of things, status, reputation, influence, money, of course, then maybe that might not be for you. You know, if you want like a light-hearted kind of carefree life, then that might not be for you. And the eighth house is also scandal, and it's very taboo. So be mindful. You know, if someone lights up your eighth house, something could come to light. You know, if you met at work, or one of you was not single when you met, then the whole thing can kind of blow up. And you can see that in Synastry, that it's inevitable that that scandal is going to be brought to light one day. So you just have to think about those things. You know, what are you wanting? But like I said, not just people. Look at places. So one thing I really like to do for people looking to relocate is look at Synastry. Okay, you can find cities when they were founded. Sometimes they have ascendants, sometimes they don't. But go ahead, you can find it. You know, cast the chart, see where the sun falls, figure it out. If you're moving for work and the city, say you wanted to go to, you know, some place with a tech boom, does the sun sit in your 10th house? Will your status increase? Okay, great. You know, is there going to be opportunity? What about the 7th house? What about the 1st house? Something to really push you out there, put you in the spotlight, help you gain the 11th, okay? Things like that. If you want to get married, check 5, 7, 9. So go for it, try it out yourself. Test it out, see where you live now, look up the chart, see, you know, where the sun falls in your own chart of the city or the country even, and what life is like for you, you know. And if you've lived somewhere before, then you can kind of cross-reference it and see if you've had more fun there than you're having here now. So let me know how it goes. I hope you have fun with it. I mean, it's worked in my own life when I've looked at all the places. I thought, man, I had a lot of fun in that place, but I could never get any traction, no matter how hard I tried. Nothing ever happened. And then suddenly you get off a plane somewhere and opportunities fall from the sky. So it's just like that. So go ahead and see how the energy flows between yourself and your environment and the world around you. And I hope you enjoy this. I hope it was fun. Above all else, don't take anything too seriously. It's really not worth it. You should be having more fun. So thank you for being here. Once again, my name is Monica, and I'll see you next time on Guru Grit. Thanks. Bye-bye.